Gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Pompeo, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to follow up on a question from Mr. Whitfield. He asked you for precedent about going beyond the source under 111D, and you cited the Clean Air Mercury Rule. Are there other precedents that EPA has for going beyond regulating existing sources?
Well, we actually don't think this is going beyond existing sources because it is focused on the fossil generation and all.
But you gave him an example where you'd gone beyond the actual source and you cited the Clean Air Mercury Rule. Do you have other examples like the Clean Air Mercury Rule? Yes or no?
No. The other examples are industry-specific like this one is.
Right. And under the Clean Air Mercury Rule, there was nothing outside of regulated sources that you attempted to regulate. You could trade amongst the regulated sources, but you couldn't go beyond that to appliances as you are proposing here. Is that correct? It's a yes or no question.
That's right.
And my recollection is the Clean Air Mercury Rule was overturned.
But not on that basis.
So it's no longer in effect.
It is no longer.
Right. So it's gone. It was unlawful. It was lawless, much like what you're proposing here. Yeah. Let me talk about, have you met with John Podesta in the course of developing these regulations? I
have.
How many times?
I don't recall.
One time, 3 times, 5 times? You have an estimate?
Does
he have a parking spot outside your building?
Not that many.
Is it infrequent?
It is infrequent.
Okay.
Infrequent.
How many times has your staff met with he or someone else at the White House on this set of regulations?
Not to my knowledge, or infrequently.
And Ms. McCarthy, has she met with Mr. Podesta as well on this set of regulations?
I expect that she has.
Can you get me the information about the frequency of those meetings, the location of the meetings, and the subject matter of those meetings?
I will take that back.
No, that's not the question. The question is, can you get me the information?
I know. I will take the question back.
Great. This is about politics, right? That's why Mr. Podesta is over at EPA working on this. This isn't about law. We've talked about that. It's about politics. It's also not about science, and I want to turn to science now. I talked with Ms. McCarthy about this. I want to make sure nothing's changed in your view. So you have now 30 indicators. You've gone from 26 to 30 indicators on your website about how you measure the impact of what you all call climate change today. So I want to ask you a series of yes or no questions about this set of regulations, these carbon regulations, and what you think they will do to the indicators that EPA uses. So, yes or no, will this set of rules, when fully implemented, reduce sea surface temperatures?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Will this reduce ocean acidity?
It will contribute to reducing ocean acidity.
Do you have the data to support that? And can you tell me how much and when we'll see reduced ocean acidity as a result of these regulations?
You can't predict the impact on climate this way.
I'll take that as you have no idea. Is that a fair statement? You don't know.
No,
do you have any science to support the reduction in ocean acidity connected to these rules?
We have science to show that increased carbon in the atmosphere leads to things like ocean acidity,
right.
And if you have less carbon in the atmosphere, you will
decreases in lake ice. How much less lake ice will there be as a result of this set of rules?
The same answer I gave you before.
Right. You don't know. The answer is you can't show me how much less lake ice. I'd just like to see the data. If you're proposing a set of rules and you have indicators, it would seem reasonable for the citizens of America to demand that you say, hey, we think this is the impact, and so this is what you're going to get in exchange for all the costs that we've all talked about this morning. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get this much less or this much more of something that's really good.
But that's not the way climate science works.
Right. Yeah. Science used loosely. Have you met with FERC in connection with electrical reliability and talked to them about the impact?
Yes.
And tell me about those discussions. Were there memos or there written materials where FERC provided you information about what they thought the impact of these rules would be on electricity reliability?
So I and my staff have consulted with staff at FERC. They are part of the interagency review process that we always go through, and so they have given us their input on electric reliability. And
do you have when you say their input, is there a memo? Do you have a document?
I
or did they just pass? Did you just pass in the hallway and talk? There's got to be a written document.
I don't believe there are written documents, but it was more than passing in the hallway.
So
we had discussions with them.
There were just discussions about something as critical as electric reliability when we have such a radical rule, and you didn't ask them to put anything in writing, or you didn't demand, say, hey, tell us what you think in a formal scientific manner. You just said, hey, let's sit at a table and talk about it?
We had substantive discussions with them.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.